guys, welcome back to Full Steam Ahead. The leaves are falling and it's almost Thanksgiving weekend. I hope you're excited. Nicola, you've been outside. Look at all the leaves you've picked up. Oh, can I have some of your leaves, Nicola? Thanks. We can do a fun experiment with these leaves. Just let me get my stuff and I'll tell you all about it. Okay, we're ready, Nicola. With this experiment, we are going to be using chromatography to see how many hidden colors there are in fall leaves. Chromatography is a big word, and it's a lab technique for separating a mixture into its components using a liquid. With chromatography, we are going to pull the colors from fall leaves. So for this experiment, you will need different colors of fall leaves. So this weekend may be a great time to take a walk with your family and see how many different colored leaves you can find. So I've got some red leaves, some green leaves, yellow, and some leaves that look kind of purple-black. You will also need some paper towel, some small mason jars, some rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol. You'll need some clothespins, some pencils, a pair of scissors, and a large cooking pot. So later on, we will be heating up the mason jars in some water, so you'll want an adult to help you with that. Okay, so once you've got all of your leaves, you'll want to separate them so that each leaf is with its own kind. So for example, all the red leaves will be together and all the green leaves will be together. And what you'll do is you'll have a jar for each color leaf that you have. And I've actually taped a leaf onto each of my jars so that I can see which leaves are in that jar. And you'll take your scissors and you'll cut up the leaves into small pieces, just like this. And then you'll put the small pieces into the jar. And you just want enough pieces to sort of coat the bottom of the jar. Okay. And then we'll take the rubbing alcohol or the isopropyl alcohol and you'll pour it into the jar, just enough so that it's covering the leaves. So you do that for each of the jars. You'll put the lid on. And you'll put each of the jars into a large pot, and then you'll put in about 2 inches of water and put it on the stove. And you'll want your adult to help you with this part because you're using the stove. You'll boil the water, and you don't want the alcohol to boil, but you just want it to get warmer. So you boil the water just long enough to let the alcohol get warm. And warming the alcohol, the rubbing alcohol, will help the leaves to release their colors better. So once you've finished that, and the jars are cool, be careful taking them out. You'll want to use oven mitts. Once that's done, you'll set the jars aside in a dark area overnight to see what happens. Okay, welcome back. It's the next day for me. And I did want to mention that if you don't want to use a stovetop to warm up the jars with the isopropyl alcohol, you can also fill a bowl with hot tap water and let the jars sit in the water for about 30 minutes just to warm up the isopropyl alcohol. Just be careful you don't burn yourself. Last night I did use a pot on the stove with about 2 inches of water. I put the jars in the pot and brought the water to a boil, and then I carefully removed the jars from the pot. So that's what I did. And you want to keep, after this, after you've heated the isopropyl alcohol, you want to cover the jars with a lid or plastic food wrap to prevent the alcohol from evaporating. And then you'll leave them in a dark space overnight, and that's what I did. So now we will use our paper towel. You can also use coffee filters if you don't have paper towel. And you want to cut some strips about 1/2 inch in width. And then we will use a pencil and a clothespin. And we'll put the pencil across the top of the jar just like this. And using the clothespin, we will attach the paper strip to the pencil just so that the end of the paper is just barely touching the alcohol and the leaf mixture, just like I've done with this jar here. Okay, so I'll do that for all 4 of my jars, and I'll let them sit for about 30 to 90 minutes. And once the alcohol mixture reaches the top of the strip, you can take the paper strips out and let them dry, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, so I let my paper towel strips sit in the jars for a little over an hour, and then I took them out and put them on this plate along with their leaves. And let's take a closer look at our result. So this leaf was a little more yellow yesterday, but these are the colors that we brought out of that leaf with our chromatography. And these are the colors that came from the darker leaf, from the green leaf, and the red leaf. Pretty interesting, huh? Even though they look one solid color, most leaves have several different colors. Chlorophyll, which is essential for photosynthesis, usually hides the other pigments in the leaves. But in the fall, the chlorophyll begins to break down, which allows the other colors to be revealed. I hope you had fun learning about chromatography and fall leaves with me. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend, and I'll see you again soon for Full Steam Ahead.